configuration, regardless of size or shape?
I won't answer that at this point. Go ahead.
Okay, I guess then we really haven't resolved too much, have we?
The current proposal has been taken off for consideration, yes.
So it will no longer, now or in the future, be considered under any current configuration?
The city owns property up there. I can't say that now or in the future it won't be considered.
Okay.
However, it's off the table right now.
Okay. Moving the industrial maintenance complex from Pleasant View Drive to any location on the East Bench foothills is not in the best interest of North Ogden citizens. I'm not here to dispute the need for an industrial maintenance complex. The current structure, a junkyard, conjures up visions of an old Army surplus site. My dispute is with the closed process and poor judgment used in selecting the new location. I don't believe all the relevant data has been considered, from safety, lean efficiency, and workflow considerations. The outer perimeter of the East Bench location is an extremely poor choice. From a safety standpoint, 2600 North, Mountain Road, are main bus stop routes. Our children walk to schools along those streets, and the sidewalks are patchy at best. Going to and from school and playing with their friends. Heavy industrial equipment on these same roads places our children's safety at risk and opens the city to lawsuits. There'll be increased operating costs, increasing vehicle mileage and maintenance. There'll be increased labor costs for lost productivity from excessive travel times. There'll also be increased maintenance for the infrastructure on 2600 North, Mountain Road, and 2750 North. Today I received a copy of the Blaylock study, and on page 35, the study states that a thicker road base or heavy asphalt for stress of large service vehicles. It states that there has to be at least two access points. Semi-trucks for offloading sand and salt will frequent the site. The site has also been recommended to double as an emergency operations center. Animal control. And something that really astonished me. There's a place in the design for 15 cylinders of liquid chlorine, a toxic chemical. That's about 1 ton of liquid chlorine. Understand it's for the swimming pool, but we're moving this a further distance away from the pool. The study states there's 100 various vehicles that is going to be stored at this site. With the initial costs associated with providing safe sidewalks from 1300 East up to the Mountain Road, along Mountain Road, and 2750, and any additional operating costs over time would surely offset any perceived city-owned property cost savings. Furthermore, the City Council has failed to even acknowledge or consider financial hardship to families surrounding the proposed sites. Putting an industrial maintenance complex directly across from my property line and the back door of our neighborhood will result in substantial loss of property land values to everyone in the area. Many studies have been completing citing reduction of residential property values and a negative impact from an industrial complex or brownfield sites with close proximity to neighborhoods. On the other hand, many studies have shown increased land values relating to open spaces and parks. There has been a breach of trust between North Ogden City Council and the citizens of North Ogden. I purchased my home 16 years ago in good faith and full understanding a park, specifically a lacrosse field, would occupy this property. We have copies of the city's drawings that for this lacrosse field. Considerable effort and expense has gone into preliminary design work, only now to be discarded. The current Pleasant View Drive location is nearly ideal. Being centrally located, the complex benefits from an infrastructure in place to handle flow and load, as well as the high demands of modern maintenance organization. There is no need for a NIMBY situation, not in my backyard. The site already exists. With a hub and spoke configuration, maintenance personnel and equipment can effectively be deployed to any job site throughout the city. Granted, the acreage involved is lacking at this time. The Blaylock study states 4.5 to 5 acres are recommended. Using the current Pleasant View Drive location, which is 2.7 acres, less than 2.3 additional acres would be required to meet the current and future needs. So we're not talking going out and buying 5 more acres. I do understand the property to the west of the location was under review and rejected to wetlands. I would argue that by applying best practices and lean workflow organizational techniques, it may be possible to rearrange the site and significantly improve workflow efficiencies, thus reducing operating costs. Moving the industrial maintenance complex from Pleasant View Drive to any location on the East Bench foothills is not in the best interest of North Ogden citizens. I ask the City Council to honor their commitments, past and present, and place the lacrosse field, a park, or an open space trailhead in this location. Finally, I ask the City Council to act with integrity and conduct the process in a transparent and open manner.
Thank you. And Mr. Bowie?
One last comment. The Blaylock study did show that in reference, they stated the South Jordan Public Works Facility was referenced. The North Salt Lake site was referenced, as well as the Logan. These are all commercial sites. If you get on Google, you can go down to the street level and look around. They're all commercial. They're not residential.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Ruby?
Mr. Hall, sorry, we need to make a copy of that. Thanks. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, let me thank those members of the City Council who were willing to come and speak to us as citizens. We're invited to do so and accepted that invitation. Mayor, thank you very much for the time you've spent having to put up with my phone calls and many others. We know public service is not easy. First of all, I would say this is almost like Groundhog Day. 3 years ago, we came down here as citizens of this city. At least 2, if not 3, of the council members were serving at that time. Obviously, we did not get our message through then, and we hope we will tonight. First of all, I think there's 2 ways of doing things. We can surely do things the right way. And Mayor, as I talk to you, I've gained a further understanding of what's taken place. But I also think there's doing the right thing. And this council can hang their hat on doing things according to the technicalities of the law and be protected legally. But doing the right thing, I think, is what we would expect of our City Council. Now, what I have here in front of me, because as we visited 3 years ago with the council, we at that time felt that perhaps this would be readdressed because of the reaction we received. So many of us have been watching the agendas published in the paper. I have here an agenda dated the 22nd of December. Item number 12. I would ask you as council members, if you were in our position, if you would understand this had anything to do with a public works building. Item 12 says, presentation of the Public Works Programming Study. Most people would think that had something to do with automation. I think that's camouflage. I go